Hello everyone, this is Gemini Jets 1975 coming at you with another video today. This time I'll be doing the first ever 1990s classic airport update. Uh, for those that have watched the 1980s classic update, just kind of some background information. There's some airlines that operated at the very early part of the 1990s, like 1990, 1991, but I include them in the 80s update because they didn't operate long enough in the 1990s. Uh, Pan Am and Eastern are two good examples. There are some airlines that I can't really feature very much in here, even though they did operate in the 1990s, so I put them in the 1980s and vice versa. So, just to let you know, I tried to get as realistic as possible. There's, as you can tell, for Continental, I use the globe. I mean the meatball livery, even though the globe livery was introduced during the decade, and then with United, I use the Sal Bass rainbow tulip livery, even though the Battleship Gray was introduced during the decade. So, anyways, let's get started. Oh, and then Northwest also had a different livery, but I could go on and on. Okay, so let's start over here. Back there in the back, we have a Northwest DC-10, which just arrived in from Minneapolis. Right over here is a Northwest 727, and he just arrived in from Memphis. The Northwest 757-200, he just arrived in from Detroit. Okay, right here, the Delta DC-930, he just arrived in from Shreveport and Monroe. The Delta MD-88, he just arrived, or he'll be departing for, let's say, Orlando. And right here, the Delta 752 will be departing out for Salt Lake City. The Delta MD-90 just arrived in from DFW. The Delta 727 here will be departing for Atlanta. The 737-200 here will be flying out to Dallas Fort Worth. The 757-200 here just arrived in from Cincinnati. The L-1011 will be making a flight out to Honolulu. And the MD-11 just arrived in from Tokyo and Portland. And then the 763 will be making a flight out to New York JFK. Alright. Do taxiways and hard stands later. Alright. So right here, actually let's start over here. Continental 747-100 will be making a flight out to Nadi, Fiji via, actually, yeah. No, I'm sorry. 747-100 will be making a flight out to Honolulu. The Continental DC-10 will be making a flight out to Denver. The other DC-10 just arrived in from Newark. Right over there, the Continental MD-82 just arrived in from Greensboro. The DC-9 30 back there We'll be making a flight out to Amarillo. The 737-300 just arrived in from Los Angeles. The 727-200 just arrived in from Houston Intercontinental. The 737-200 will be making a flight out to Corpus Christi. And the DC-910, he will be making a flight out to El Paso, Texas. American MD-80 just arrived in from DFW. The ERJ-145 just arrived in from, let's say Oklahoma City. America West 737-300 will be making a flight out to Phoenix. ValueJet DC-930 just arrived in from Atlanta. Midwest Express DC-930 will be departing for Milwaukee. Southwest 737-200 just arrived in from Dallas Love Field. And then a Continental DC-930 will be making a flight out to Little Rock. Okay, now the U.S. Air Terminal. So we have U.S. Air 737-400, and he just arrived in from Kansas City. U.S. Air MD-80 will be making a flight out to Los Angeles. U.S. Air 737-200 just arrived in from Orlando. Here we have a 757-200 will be making a flight out to Philadelphia. Right here, the Fokker 28 just arrived in from Dallas Fort Worth. The U.S. Air Fokker 100, he'll be making a flight out to Montgomery, Alabama. Right here's the U.S. Air DC-9. He just, actually no, that's not realistic, I'm sorry. The Fokker 100, let's say he'll be making a flight to New Orleans. Okay, the DC-930 here, he just arrived in from Charlotte. Okay, United, the DC-10, alright, he just arrived in from Honolulu. The 763, he'll be making a flight out to Washington Dulles with continuing service to Frankfurt. Then we have the United 747 SP be making a flight out to Tokyo Narita. The 762 in the back there, he just arrived in from Chicago O'Hare. Right there, the United 727-200 in the back will be making a flight out to Memphis. And then the one next to him, he will be making a flight out to New Orleans. And then the 757-200, he just arrived in from Chicago. Okay. Next, the international terminal, and then there's a couple domestics. Hawaiian DC-10 be making a flight out to Honolulu. The Air New Zealand DC-10 will be making a flight out to Auckland via Los Angeles. Or actually, I'm sorry, that'd be Auckland via Honolulu. British Airways DC-10 just arrived in from London Heathrow. Air Canada L1011 just arrived in from Toronto. Aeroflot IL-62 will be making a flight out to Moscow via New York JFK. Mexicana Mexicana 727, sorry about that, will be making a flight out to Mexico City. And then right here, a Canadian A320 just arrived in from Calgary. Alright, so before we finish up, we'll do the taxiways and hard stands. Right here we have another Continental MD-80, and he will be departing for, I don't remember if I did a flight here or not, to Orlando. Right here on the hard stand, Northwest DC-930 just arrived in from, Northwest DC-930 will be making a flight out to Memphis. And then the DC-950 later on will be making a flight out to Boston. Okay, right here, a Delta 767-200 is making a flight out to Orlando with continuing service to San Juan. And then the Northwest A320 is making a flight out to Detroit Metro. Alright guys, so that concludes the first ever 1990s classic airport update. I apologize that it's taken so long for me to do it. I know I've mentioned it in a few recent videos, but I decided to go ahead and do it now. So if you're watching for the first time, thank you. Please subscribe. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have been watching my videos for a while, thank you very, very much for watching my videos. And thank you guys for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video.